I think what I'm gonna do the rest of the day today is clean my garage up now that I made this junk motor run. Good God. Today's teardown is going to be on this guy right here. It is it's an Emerson motor. And other videos I've had, people ask to see the rating labels, and there you go. It's a 2.5 horsepower, 1.0 service factor, 230 volt, 2-speed. The high speed amperage is 11.0 and the low speed amperage is 3.3 with a duty cycle of 1. And of course, like most pump motors, it has an automatic thermal protection. So, quarter inch action here. 1-3 bolt. Oh, she's stubborn. All right, we got to do something different here. Give me a second. We got to get a socket. Four bolts out. Let's get this end belt off. With the end belt off, we can get a good look at the starter switches here. And they both look good. The rear bearing is good. And the coils all look good. I don't know why this wasn't a runner. Take the rotor out for a second. Let's get the start capacitor off of this guy. See what's going on. Oh yeah. She's all blowed up. It might be all that's wrong with this motor besides being locked up. But it wasn't even humming. Man, that thing's nasty. I don't even want to touch it. I don't know if you can read that or not. It's not a horribly huge capacitor. It's 88 to 106 microfarads at 330 volts. But man, she vented hard. So, and it normally, there's a little vent right here that would rupture. It didn't. It actually like blew the insides out. So we'll, this might turn into a rebuild. Might be able to get this motor running again. We'll find out. I'm going to shut you guys off for a little bit. I did that off camera because it was quite time consuming. Look at the, you don't think it's got a bad front bearing, do you? Man, that had to be making a lot of noise for a really long time. And I almost want to say the bearing is almost coming apart. There might be some balls missing out of it. Yeah, that bearing doesn't have any balls in it anymore. It just erases in the cage the balls would go in. That's got to be the worst front bearing I've ever seen in a motor. I don't know when it stopped running, but it should have stopped running a long time ago. Let's build a Franken motor. I don't know if you guys remember last week, we looking at this rotor. Man. Look, there's no, I've never seen anything like that. And the whole end belt's all rotted away. That's crazy. That's crazy. I've never seen a bearing come completely apart like that, not one of these motors. So, what we're gonna do, we're gonna steal the rear bearing off of this, stick it on that one. We're gonna put this all back together and see what happens with it. I'm not gonna buy any new parts. I don't have the right size capacitor either, but I got a capacitor that should work. And we'll see if we can make this motor run. Nobody wants to look at me. I'm trying to keep you where you can see the actual work being done. Got me a fancy bearing. Get rid of that. This guy up in here. And I don't know why I took the bearing off of this, but I did. Bearing installing tool here. These are Emerson motors. These actually take a special bearing. It's a 6203, but it has a 15.99 millimeter bore, so they don't take a standard 6203. Seems awful deep. But it's rust, all the rust marks and everything. One more tap. There we have it. New front bearing. Go ahead and wiggle an end bell on here. All right, got an end bell on there. Go ahead and get rid of some of this garbage. Tools we don't need right now. We did not make any witness marks, so what we're going to do is get where we think it is. I've got a light sitting on the other end. I'm going to sight down through these holes. Just need to put some little something on here to keep this thing together. Sounds better. Oh, I'm going to shut you guys off for a second. I'm going to go scrounge up I'm going to clean up some of this mess. And I'm going to go scrounge up a capacitor from somewhere. We'll see if we can get this thing running. I'm going to get a capacitor, wire it up, see if it runs. Hey, we wired this up off camera and tried to test it. And it doesn't even hum. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the probably just broke the starter switch. Nope, how about that? It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the coils. Oh, let's see a clue here. I think we have a broken thermal overload switch. So, let's get this out of here. Somebody's been in this motor before, and I don't know, they might have done some bad stuff. Yeah, that'd do it. That'd make a motor not run right there. Although it does seem to be making contact. So this is the automatic thermal overload switch that came out of that motor. So you've got this thermo disc, and when it's in a cool position, it's pulled down on two contacts. It was making contact with that one. The other contact over here was completely burned up. And then you see this little trace wire in there. Try to get some light on it. There's a little trace wire in there that is actually spot welded to, or makes contact with, I don't think it's spot welded. There's a little trace wire in there that goes to the low speed coils that just makes contact with those two little balls to the back of that thermo disc, and that wasn't happening. So that got so hot when that capacitor went out that it actually burned up the switch, and I guess it's what happened to the side of it. I guess it actually broke out. Maybe there was a really bad arc or something in there, but that was the culprit. I went and scrounged around in the back of my truck, and I found stuff that's going to the dump. And lo and behold, I found a thermal cutout switch, and we're gonna splice them on in here. And I'm determined to see this motor run today. I have anything better to do. Sunday. So I go to church. Yeah. I keep fumbling and bumbling and knocking everything over in here. Still think the starter coils are bad, so I'm not getting any continuity back. But it could have been this. I'll show you in a second. Make sure they're nice and tight. There's gonna be a lot of current going through there. Ooh, that's a big old wire right there. That goes to the, that's the common. So it goes to all three sets of coils. Strip it back a little more. I feel like it's going in there. Turn you off for a second. We'll get this all mounted on the end belt, and we'll get this motor back together. We'll see what happens. We've got our starter switch and our thermal cutout switch mounted. We've got a shim and a thrust washer that goes in there. And you know, I didn't make any witness marks when I took this apart again. Sorry for getting my big head in the camera there. Let's get this in lined up first. It's really a pain in the neck. When you don't make witness marks. So, got that one all the way on there. You gotta kind of push this down that way to get those actuators over top so you don't ruin the starter switch. Now I've got that in lined up, I can just shove a bolt through this way. And looks like, feels like we're on there. Let's give it a tappy tap. Nice. I'm just gonna put 2 bolts in just to hold this thing together a little bit. Turns good. So this is gonna be fun for you guys no matter what, because this motor is either gonna run or it's gonna blow up. I've got it connected to a fused controller over there, so I don't have to worry about getting electrocuted or nothing. Where I can see it. Yeah, we'll put the capacitor down so when it blows up, it'll blow up downward direction. Let's do low speed first, since we got some questions about whether that's going to work or not. Super important hook and ground up to this thing. See if she runs, or it just says boom. Might say boom. Oh, listen to that. That junk front bearing I put in there don't sound too good, but it runs. So let's switch this over to high speed. It runs on high speed. These do sometimes torque a lot on high speed. I'm just going to hold it. Wow. High speed don't sound bad at all. So I was able to use the rotor, a rotor that I had laying around from a video we did a couple weeks ago. They were identical pumps. They were exactly the same. And there are stampings on these rotors a lot of times to tell you what they are. And you can see somebody been in there trying to get an impeller off or something. And so who knows what goes on in 15 years of a motor's life. Behold the carnage. There's the seal plate. There's the volute. You can see that parts of the volute are still attached to the seal plate, or parts of the seal plate are still attached to the volute. There's what's left of the impeller. Had to break that to get it out. I got trash and junk all over the place in here, man. I made a big mess working on this thing. Here's my tripod. And it's a fun little project.